All right, so we're back in Texas. Tonight we're down South Texas, almost by Del Rio, just outside of Del Rio, at a campground called Seminole Canyon Campground. It's highly recommended. We've never been here, but we're going to check it out. I think we're in primitive camping, so that means no hookups. But that's okay. We hear that the primitive camping they got the better view. And it's only, what, $8 a night?
Yep.
$8 a night. You can't go wrong.
It's a Texas state park. Can't see that these are coming this way. Look back that way. That's 45.
Oh, hopefully that's not it. 35.
That'd be nice.
Maybe
Although
44.
I don't see any bathrooms. It's 38.
36.
Oh, you're right. 26.
37. And where this van guy is. That's a view and a half, though.
That's what everybody said. It's beautiful.
38. So that actually might be it right there. 43.
43.
You know? 39, 40. Oh, we're all on the end.
You're on the end.
Now looking at him. Pulley through.
That's the last one.
Yeah, we're all the way to the end. It's all right.
No, I like it. I'd rather be at the end.
So this is our spot at Seminole Canyon State Park in Texas. We're just outside of Del Rio, Texas, right by the Rio Grande River, and the Mexican border is only a couple miles away. Here's where we are. So this is the primitive campsite area. And what that means is there is no power, no water, and no sewer connection. I do have my solar panels out there today. They're not doing a whole lot right now because of the clouds. But earlier we had a good amount of sun coming through. So I thought I'd make this video about the solar system that we have set up on this RV, why we did it and how we set it up. So it might be one of our more boring videos unless you're into RV solar systems. But we did a couple of distinctive things that are quite different than what everybody else does, and I'll kind of show you why we did them and what was our logic behind it and how well it's working for us. So the first part of the solar system is honestly the solar panels. So here's our two panels. They're 200-watt flex panels, so they're very light. And then I built them into these PVC frames. You can kind of see how I did it. It's pretty straightforward. Just to kind of like an easel type setup, and then I just zip tied them. Very light. And then they go, I store them when we're not using them. They fold down flat. Those arms just fold in flat against the solar panels. And then I store them in the roof rack. It's like a cargo net inside the camper shell of the pickup truck. So these do both, they're about 100 watts each. I'll put a link in the description. I'll try to put a link in the description of about everything that I'm going to show you here today. So then they are plugged in back here. They go back into this storage compartment here. Now this wire here that you see is what's running to the solar panels. Normally I actually run it out of the little power connector plug right here. But because we're boondocking, this is one of the things that's different about how I have it set up. So that the power cable from the solar panels goes back into the back and into the solar controller. And I'll show you that in a minute. That's on the inside of the trailer. What I have here now is several different things that are different. First of all, you're going to see the inverter that's there. We have a 2,000 watt Samlex inverter. And then you see these batteries here. We have 4 AGM 6-volt batteries wired together for 12 volts. So there's 2 banks basically. And then the cords that you see here, this is my this is the connector cable for the weBoost cell phone booster, and then this is the black cable there is the connector cable for the Wi-Fi booster. And then I have right in here, it's kind of hard to see, is that gray box that you're looking at right there, the little one in front here is a AGM battery charger. So that charges these batteries back here. So what's unique about this system is that this is its own system. It's not connected to the house batteries in any way, and it's not connected actually to the house power requirements of the trailer. So you may ask, why in the world am I doing that? So if you look right here, that's my 30 amp connector that I would normally plug into the campground 30 amp connection. and I've got it plugged into a female plug for my 2000 watt inverter. So I wired that in, and you can actually see how I did that in another video. It's pretty straightforward. And then this is the 2000 watt Samlex inverter. So what happens is, if I'm boondocking, which we are, my cable is in this little, is all stored up in there. And normally you would pull it through right there and plug into your outside connection. But because we're boondocking, I pull it through that little slot there that I created, the little door hinges there, and plug it into my inverter. So when we want power, we now just turn on the inverter, and now everything in the trailer works just like it does when we're connected to shore power or campground power. Now these connections here that you see here, this is for, I'll go inside and show you what we have, but there's a battery gauge and then a USB plug and a couple of little knickknacks that are connected to that. I just wired into that little fuse bus there. But these 4 AGMs, I went with AGMs. The main reason for AGMs is because they don't give off any noxious gas or poisonous gas when you're charging them. So they can be in this compartment. This bunk here above is our daughter's bunk, so we can't have any of the gases like you would get off of a lead acid battery. So that's one of the reasons we went with AGMs. And then we also went on with AGMs and the 6 volts because these are deep cycle batteries. I get about 220 amp hours each bank, so that's 440 amp hours total. So that's a substantial amount of power for an RV of this size and most of our power requirements. But again, the big difference with this is not connected to the shore power in any way, or to the trailer power, to the internal trailer power. And I'll explain how and why we do that as well, because we also have batteries up front, and we'll go take a look at those right now. So up front here, I have 2 pretty traditional lead acid batteries. The biggest difference with these is they are the Trojan T105 6 volt batteries. Again, they're wired together to get 12 volts. Now this is your pretty standard setup. Most every trailer has this. Most of the time when you buy a trailer, a travel trailer or a fifth wheel like this, you just have one battery and then you can add the second one on. These are lead acid batteries. Biggest difference is that they're 2 6 volt batteries, and again we went with the 6 volt batteries because you get a little bit deep cycle, you get a little bit more charge out of them. I believe that this has 220 amp hours just between those two put together. So this is the standard setup that you might have with a regular travel trailer. So we have these 2 batteries and then the 4 more in the back, which gives us a total of 6 batteries. But this system here is not really connected to that system, those batteries in the back. And I'll go inside and kind of show you how we wired it all together and what my philosophy behind this all was. Okay, so here we are inside the trailer. So if you remember our original video, we gave you the tour. We've changed a few things since we've actually gone full-time on the road. One of the biggest things is that top bunk no longer exists. It's now shelving. We put in these plastic drawers. And then that bottom area that's open is actually kind of our charging station area. So it charges the Ryobi batteries for the tools and the iPhones and the laptops and the rechargeable batteries and all the rest. But the thing that's probably the most interest to everybody is this panel I put in. So there used to be a ladder here that stepped up to the top bunk, but I just went ahead and replaced it and made that panel myself. Underneath is that little curtain there. That's actually for Josie. That's her little cat box that's hidden away, tucked under there. Helps keep the smell down, and it's easy to clean because I can actually clean it from the hatches outside. So anyways, here we have I have my Wi-Fi booster that you've probably seen in a previous video, and then we have the cell phone booster. And the nice thing about this position, it just happened to work out that the compartment that I was showing you the batteries is right behind this panel, basically right behind Josie's cat box, and then that little compartment door there underneath Haley's bunk. So it made it really easy to wire everything up. So what I have here is, first of all, pretty easy. I have just a USB plug port here that's wired into those batteries in the back. We have our Go Power solar controller. This is just a meter. I'll just turn it on there and you can see. So this is just a voltmeter that's reading off of those back batteries. So they're reading 1259, so that's about probably 75-80% charge on those back batteries. And then this is the remote control for the inverter. So we're able to turn the inverter on and off from inside. I don't have to go back there and flip the switch on. You turn it on once and leave it on, and then you can control it on and off here. But what you see here, let me see if I can get it so you can read it. So there is, we got reflections everywhere. So there is our Go Power solar controller. And you can see we're pulling in, it says 1.3 amps. So considering how cloudy it is, that's pretty good, because that's barely even a trickle charge. It's pretty much worthless, but at least it's charging a little bit. Earlier, I think we had about 8-9 amps at one point with partial cloudy, which is good, not great. Full sun, I can pull about 15, maybe even 18 amps out of this, which is fabulous. That's a good charge. But so the wires that came from the solar panel connect to this solar controller here from GoPower. Overall, I like it. I wish it was lighted so you could read it easier. It seems to work pretty well. I would rather have more information. There's a couple of different things that it reads out there, but really all I'm ever concerned about is amps, how many amps we're bringing in. I have my own voltmeter that I wired right to the batteries here, so it's telling me, now we got 1260, so again, like 75-80% of battery charge there. But this is good. It's more than adequate. I forget how much it was, but I'll put a link below to what it was and how where you can get it on Amazon. And then obviously the Samlex inverter is really great, because when you are boondocking, if it happens to get cold or rainy, you do not want to go outside and turn on your inverter. You can turn it on from the inside. So the concept behind this whole system here, and why I did 2 separate battery banks, is when this inverter is turned on, it actually is going to charge just through your regular charger on your inverter charger in your trailer. It's going to charge your front batteries. Now, some people will do it and you have one system and all the batteries can run off one system. But if you connect your 30 amp shore power connector to it, you actually create a loop. So you're drawing power from the batteries and then trying to recharge the batteries. It actually can cause a fire, if not burn out or cause damage to your batteries or your charger. This way, I have 2 separate systems. So this becomes kind of a method of charging the front batteries, the house batteries. I actually put the house batteries on their own charger up front. I mean, on their own meter up front. I can show you that in a minute too. But it becomes a system that right now it's off. We're only running off of the lights in here are only running off of the house batteries, the 2 Trojan T105s up front. When we need the microwave, or we need to charge something with 120 volts, or we need to charge the front batteries, or we want to watch television, or whatever it might be, then we just come over and turn on the inverter just like this. And that turns on the inverter. So now the inverter's on, and you'll see my voltage drops quite a bit. It's quite a bit drop right now because it's charging the front batteries. My solar stays the same for what it is, 1.1 amps. That's barely doing anything. But now all of the plugs in the trailer are powered. So in the bathroom, if you want to use a curling iron or hairdryer or something like that, your plugs work. You can charge your cell phones with the plugs. That power strip that you see there, the gray one, that's all now charged and working. And of course, obviously the microwave works as well. So this system doesn't affect the front batteries at all. I don't have to drain the front batteries. And our logic behind that is twofold. One is it's kind of sacrificial. In other words, I'm going to shut this off because I'm not using it. In that those batteries can be run down quite low, and I don't have to worry about them affecting anything. They don't do anything but just charge the 120 volts in the trailer. The front batteries control the slide out, control the power jack in the front, control the water pump. So many of the necessities, the lights in the trailer, when you're walking around, so many of the necessities that you have for just living in your trailer are controlled by those front batteries. So being able to keep those only to use on a 12 volt system. So I basically have a 12 volt system and a 120 volt system. And the 120 volt system is the batteries in the back, the 4 AGMs, and the 12 volt system is the front batteries, which are the T105 Trojans. And that, again, the purpose behind it is that I have 2 separate systems. So I can charge my front batteries when I want. I can use the inverter whenever I want. And really one of the best parts about it is it didn't require a whole lot of manipulation to the trailer. Now, obviously, I had to make this panel, but it's 6 screws, and I can pull those 6 screws out and replace the ladder, and everything's done and back to the way it was. I didn't have to put big holes in the trailer. I didn't have to put big mounts in the walls or mount my solar controller anywhere in the walls or anything like that. So if I want to take this stuff with me, if we sell the trailer, I can do it. The batteries back there just connect really easy and come out, and somebody who may want to buy this trailer and wants the top bunk, for, if they have 2 kids, then we can put that top bunk back in and put the ladder back in, and they're good to go. So part of it was keeping it a simple system that would be easily switched back so the trailer can go back to stock, but then also something that's very functional for us. And so far, it's been working fabulous. With those 2 solar panels out front, we rarely run out of power. This is our second day now boondocking, and we have 1254. I just turned the inverter on. It's going to kind of creep back up there to 1260. So we're still at 75-80% battery power. The front batteries are, I believe, they're fully charged, and how much, that's all the power I need, and we had a cloudy day. So with full sun, I would have charged those back batteries completely up. And we could watch TV tonight. We can cook with the microwave. That 2,000 watt Samlex inverter cooks with the microwave just fine. You can't run a heater and a microwave at the same time, but you can do an awful lot of stuff. So you just sometimes have to manage your power requirements. The other idea of why did we do solar panels on the ground rather than on the roof? Most of when we do our solar requirements is in the wintertime. And when you have solar panels on the roof don't work as well unless you have them angled because the sun is so low on the horizon. So having panels on the ground means I can angle those solar panels all day long to get full power out of the panels. So I don't need as many panels, and I can keep them at a greater angle. So when we're boondocking in the wintertime, they're more effective. In the summertime, it doesn't matter. Most of the time, the sun is straight up when you need it, and so putting them on the roof works really great. But most of the time, we found that in the summertime, it's so hot, we're usually in places where we're in campgrounds anyways because we want to run the air conditioner. Now, that brings up a good point. You cannot run the air conditioner with those batteries. I know there is some people that have tried to do it. I think the Winds, I saw them in one of their videos. They were able to set up and run their air conditioner off their batteries, so that's amazing. But we don't have quite that much juice. But for the majority of what we're trying to do, which is laptops and cell phones and cook with the microwave and a hairdryer occasionally and those kind of things, this system is more than adequate. We have not had a problem with needing power at all. I'm very happy with those AGMs and the Trojans. So far, the Trojans are relatively new, but the Trojans are really great. So right here is another 12-volt meter that's just showing me what the voltage is on the front batteries. And so you can see it's running about the same, 1256. So I get to find out and see what my front batteries are doing separate from the back batteries. So it kind of just a nice way to see how full the batteries are. I know that like these gauges here have shows you what your batteries are doing, but boy, they're very inaccurate. That's four lights. Does it really tell you where it is? I like to know exactly what my voltage is, so I'm able to look right there and see what it is. So we get about 60-70% on the front batteries. So I hope you enjoyed that video today here on what we did with my solar setup and the battery setup. Love to see your comments. I know that there's always different ways or better ways of doing it, so love to hear what you have to say, or maybe you have some questions about why I did what I did. I will make sure that I put in the comments or in the text below the link to all the equipment that we bought. We're very happy with everything we have so far, but the only thing I would change is I would love another panel. So instead of just 2 panels, is maybe going with 3 solar panels so we could pull in a little bit more solar power during cloudy days like today. Boy, that's looking kind of stormy over there. We might get some lightning tonight. Anyways, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and feel free to ask any questions that you might want to have.